Nate, I know you've said you feel like the team's playing some of its best soccer of the season. You got 4 wins in a row. Just what's been going well for you of late?
Oh, man, I think a couple things. I think the buy-in continues to increase over time. A little bit of outcome and a little bit of results doesn't hurt, certainly. I think we were a little bit victims of some unfortunate bounces at the beginning of the season, and I think we found a few in these last few games. I'm very much a believer that you kind of make your own luck, and those fortunate bounces find good teams, and the teams that struggle, they always seem to go against them. But we found a rotation. I think role identity has increased, and players essentially know, even off the bench, when they're going to be coming in, what their role is. We've talked a lot about sort of a shift mentality, that part of each of our jobs is to continue to wear down the opponent. And so if you're coming in as a sub, your job should be a little bit easier because the first 20 minutes, maybe the opponent's taken some blows, and then you can deliver a few, and when the starters come back in, their life's easier, and if you come back in, your life's easier. And those are nice things to talk about. They sound good in theory, but when the team starts really embracing it and seeing the fruits of their labor, so to speak, it just becomes a powerful force, And one of the great things about being, a coach of a team sport is that the collective talent, you could either play above or below it. And I think we're starting to hopefully get on the right side of that line. And that takes a lot of time, a lot of intentionality. But the players, I know, Lexi and Asa just spoke, them and just the whole team have really, I think, reinvested as we've gone deeper in the season. And I'm just thankful that, at least through the regular season, they were able to see some results.
Nate, in year one, how important was it to be a part of this tournament field, especially because it's in Kansas City?
I think that being in Kansas City, I'll speak for myself, I felt a little extra pressure. You don't want to be the team that's sort of the home team and then have to watch it from the sidelines. That's going to be even more pressure next year when we're down to 6 teams. It was a goal when I walked into the room and spoke to the team without the press, without the administrators, and spoke through goals. I think that was the first consistent theme out of their mouths is we want to play in the Big 12 tournament. Hopefully that's not our absolute goal. Hopefully we're not settling for just being there, but it was a big part of what we all wanted to accomplish. And, we started off conference play with a loss at home at Rock Chalk. I think doubt started to creep into all of our minds, and you start trying to figure out where you're going to find those wins. And that could be a dangerous exercise, right? Like we're very much, we believe in our process, and if we stick with our process, the results will eventually come. But there was a sense of relief, I'm sure. We won. I think we knew that we were in on the Sunday of our Arizona State trip. It's nice to not back in. It's nice to get there on your own merits, not because someone else dropped some points. So it's a good first step in this our initial year together. But I know I'm still hungry. I'm pretty sure the team's still hungry, and we're not just there to participate by any means.
Coach, with how well you've performed on the road this year, do you think that gives you some extra confidence, even just making the short trip to KC?
I hope so. It's kind of it's hard to win on the road in any sort of sport, in any sort of capacity. It's probably even harder to do it in conference when the intensity steps up a level and the competition steps up a level. It's been really impressive how these young women have dealt with being on the road, and a couple 5-day trips, right? Cincinnati, West Virginia, Arizona State. We dealt with the heat, we dealt with the altitude, and they've had a really professional approach about it. And I don't think you can luck into multiple road wins. I don't think you can fake that. There's very, very few average teams that do well on the road, and it gives me a sense of confidence. Hopefully, it gives the team a sense of confidence. This puzzle that we're trying to put together in the last few days of how we deal with playing 45 minutes an hour down the road. Do we stay in a night? Do we keep our same rhythm on the road? That's going to be an interesting one. And maybe we'll look back and say we did everything right. And maybe we'll look back and say, hey, if we're lucky enough to be here next year, we'll do some things different. But one of the things that we believe about playing on the road is that you're not going to be able to control everything, right? You play with a different ball, perhaps on different surface, different referees, different locker rooms. like whatever comes our way, we certainly don't want to talk about excuses or things that could be better. I think we're pretty fine-tuned in just taking whatever comes our way, and I think that mindset should serve us well in the next week or two.
Nate, I think since you've taken the job, you've talked about the steps in the process of making this program better. Is there any surprise? I know you set the goal of making the Big 12 tournament, but is there any surprise that you guys are where you're at right now?
It's a tough question. If you would ask me after that Iowa State game, yeah, maybe. That was a tough way to start conference play. If you would have asked us before the season, I don't. We as a coaching staff very much believe in our process, in our style of play, and believe that if we have a team that accepts that and believes in it just as much, that we're going to find success. And I don't want to put a cap on success either, right? I've been part of programs that skipped steps and won early and won before people thought we could. That's some fuel, right? And I think we're in a fortunate situation that we can tap into that. Hopefully we're not the underdogs for too long. Hopefully we're not picked 13th in the preseason for too long. I enjoy it. Like, it was certainly, we talked about it the first day that it came out with the team. I wouldn't be surprised if they're still talking about it. But I don't know how to answer that. I think, as far as what we can do in this tournament, if someone says, if we're out there holding a trophy at the end and someone says, "Are you surprised?" I'd be like, in some ways yes, in some ways no. If we don't take care of business the first game, same answer, right? In some ways yes, in some ways no. When we come to perform, when we're committed and focused, and like when it comes down to a one-game season in this sport, things can bounce one way or another. But we feel like we can play with anyone, and so like I honestly don't think there's a real ceiling to our success.
And Coach, can you talk a little bit about what it means or what it says about this group to be able to do this, not only in your first year, but also in a year where you guys had a lot of roster turnover and a lot of new players, a lot of newness going on?
Yeah, I think, day one of preseason, if the numbers are correct, I believe we had 15 returning players and 15 newcomers. And that's certainly a challenge in a sport that competes right away, that has the shortest preseason of any sport and that has the shortest fall season. You got to get it right early. And for those of you who were at our early games at RCP, I think we did some good things, but like you saw me afterward and we were frustrated because against Tulsa, we outshot them 30-6 or 30-9 and tie 2-2. We give up a late goal against South Florida in the 89th, 90th minute and tie. That's kind of part of the process with newness. There's a reason experienced teams do well. What I have to give all the credit for this part is that, it only works if the team buys in. We can make as many coaching points as you want, but if the team doesn't totally invest in those things, which for us involve a lot of sacrifice and what, then it's not going to work. And I know you spoke with Lexi and Asa. They're great examples, players that had been part of the program, had been part of the spring when we walked off our last spring game on the wrong side of a 5-0 result, and they could have taken that and said, "This isn't going to work." These guys don't really know what they're doing, or they could say, "Okay, I see the process. I believe in what will happen if we invest." And so the newness doesn't make it easier, but it also provides a fresh start. We have an injection of players that don't know one way or another how things are supposed to look here at KU, don't know what the Big 12 looks like, and that can be scary at times, but it can be exciting at times. So it's been the neat thing and the thing that's unique to the season is we're all going through this together for the first time. But I give a lot of credit to especially those players that had been here the last 1, 2, 3 years. Change is hard, and they embrace that change, and I'm glad that they're getting some of the benefits now.
The match against Arizona State was one where you fell behind at the half, and I think you said it was one of the more colorful conversations you've had at halftime, and then come back and win the second game of road trip. Just what do you remember about that, and what will you take from that into this matchup against them?
We were coming off a really strong performance on Thursday night at Arizona, where we won 4-0, and it was one of those things that everything went right, everyone played well. It was perfect evening of weather. It was just like almost in some ways too easy, because that's not how most games go. We did everything we could to try to make sure that didn't create a false sense of confidence. I mean, I'll be super clear, like we haven't earned that. There's no way we can ever be successful if we have any sort of overconfidence. But there's human nature that we're fighting with. We were also playing in like 85-degree sunshine, and that sun is different out there. We got scored on the first 5 minutes. I think those kind of games are the ones that really test your character. If you're rolling and you're up 3-0, I don't think a measure of a team is if you win 4-0 or 3-0, 5-0 or 2-0. I think a measure of a team is what happens when you face adversity. We faced that adversity. We found that goal to tie it up before halftime, and then you go in and there's a lot of different ways that I could have approached that. You could have said, "Good job getting that goal back." I just think we played below the standard. And if we actually have a standard, we have to understand what that looks like. If we play to it, we have to celebrate it. If we fall below it, we have to find a way to fix that. Some days it's going to be like, I don't think we played particularly well in the first half against Kansas State. When we spoke to that team, it was nice and calm and measured, and here are some tactical points that I think we can get through. I think we need to calm down was a big part of it. Against Arizona State, I think we needed to wake up. I think we had to understand the stakes that we were playing for, whether it's qualifying for the conference tournament or getting to a point here where we can. I mean, we were very close to being a 5 seed. Like you don't know when it's going to matter. We want to control everything that we can control, and so again, how a team handles that conversation when they see my urgency and it doesn't look the same as every halftime is important. And we came out flying, right? And I think Lexi earned a corner in the first 2 minutes, and it's not a surprise that we found that second goal. And then we had to, sometimes you see games out really easily, and it's like a calm 15, 20 minutes and the ball's on the other side, and sometimes you have to endure some pressure. And we had to take on some pressure, and I think that was good for us and our growth. And when you get to tournament play, if we're lucky enough and fortunate enough and all that good stuff to win a few games here in the tournament, we're probably going to have to do one of, where we're hanging on. Even the best teams have to hang on here and again. So all these different scenarios that you face, like, prepare you for different things you might face in the future. And I think, like, after the Arizona State game, the team was, I think tired. But I told them, I think we should celebrate this one more. I'm not one for over-celebrating games, but, like, that was a hard one. That was an important one. That one showed some grit and character. And, for me, that was a big one.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, just for either both of you, 4-match winning streak entering the tournament, just what's been going well for the team recently at this point in the season?
I think for the past couple of games, we've been on a winning streak, so that's been very motivational for us, and to continue pressing and, getting to know our identity so that we continue to have the success that we're having.
I would also like to add, I feel like we've been united these past couple of games. Like, it's obviously easy to stick together when you guys are doing well, but I think even before that, while we were having our ups and downs, we didn't turn on each other. So I think that was very helpful to us being successful these next couple of games.
I think both you guys are from the Kansas City area. How's that kind of excitement around that? Do you have a lot of family coming up for the games?
Yeah, I have a lot of family that comes to even the RCP games, so they're super excited to get to come to the game at the stadium too.
Yeah, same here as well. I have a lot of family and friends excited to come and watch.
Lexi, having this tournament in your hometown, just kind of how cool is that for you?
Personally, like, I've watched KC Current for a while now, so getting to play at their facility is very, it doesn't feel real, so it's super exciting for us, for our team, for the faculty, for everyone, honestly.
You guys are playing Arizona State in the first round. Obviously played them already this season, pretty recently actually. What'd you learn from that matchup? What can you apply against them, playing them again?
I feel like we've learned to not take them lightly. Like, they're a very tough competition, and it's also hard to beat a team twice. So I think that it'll be a very challenging matchup, but I think we're honestly excited about it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I think that we're ready. We're excited. We know we can do better than what we did last time, and we're ready to come out and challenge them and play our best and try and get a win.
And what does it say about this program right now? Nate Lee's first year, a lot of newcomers, but you guys make it to this point. What does it just say about the state of where you guys are at and the way you do things as a team?
I would say that it plays a huge role. Like, he came in, and one of our goals from the beginning was not to, like, rebuild. We knew that we were coming for the Big 12 tournament and stuff, and we wanted to make a statement our first year. And these new people, they came in, and they really helped us big time. I think the change was huge for us, just because just having a fresh slate and getting to meet these new people was great for us, and it kind of helped our team culture as well. Just like us, I know it was a short period of time, but like we all got to know each other, and it was honestly just like big for us.
Yeah, I mean, we've had 15 newcomers, new coaches, so obviously it's been a change for all of us. But I think that, we've handled it really well. The coaches have given us everything that we needed, and we just needed to apply it, and we've done that. So I think right now we're at a great spot, and we just need to continue.
For both of you, just the high-pressure style you guys play, just how useful has that been for you this season? How much of an asset has that been?
I mean, I think personally, like when we all press together, that's how we've gotten many of our goals, and I think that's what's made us such a good team and why other people don't see us coming and they have no idea what the press feels like until you're in the game. So I think it's been like one of the best things about our team.
The one word I would use for our press is kind of like relentless. Like, we keep it up for 90 minutes, and that's hard for other teams to sustain, just because, I don't know, like when you're being pressed for that long, it gets tiring. And we kind of look to our bench. We have a very deep bench, and they come in and do their roles. So I would just say we're relentless.
And then losing two of your captains to injury early in the season, how'd you get past that as a team?
I feel like knowing that everyone has a role on the team, whether you play 90 minutes or you don't play any minutes at all, it really doesn't matter. Everyone has a voice. Everyone can share what they see versus what we see. And I mean, it's really inspirational because you can see like freshmen speaking up when you never knew that they would. So I think that's been the most inspirational thing about it.
While it was hard for us to lose those captains, I think a lot of our other teammates have stepped into that role and took the leadership, which was huge for us. And I think that, like Lexi said, even we had freshmen stepping up, and so I think that's been huge for us, like people doing the work to step into the leadership role.
Also, you mentioned a minute ago that you guys wanted to make a statement this year and not kind of take any steps back. Lexi, I want you to answer this too, but did you believe that day one of camp? Did you believe that early in the season, game one? Was there a point during the season that you had to kind of realize, oh, we can really do this, or was that there from the beginning?
I think from the beginning, I had the hope that we could make a statement. Like, we had these talented new players coming in, and then we had some talented players that stayed as well. So I knew from the beginning that we had a chance to make a statement. And while some games didn't go our way, we'd come back evaluating, well, we were doing this well. And so we kind of knew we could build off of that and then become successful in the future.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think for us, like, we wanted that, obviously, but so does everyone. And I don't know if it was an expectation from the beginning just because we knew everything was so new. Mm-hmm. But I think at this point, we know what we can do. Based off of the rankings that we were ranked before the season to now, we're already proving that we're a better team than what people think. So I think we just need to continue that.
Is this a bigger statement so far, anyway, than either of you thought? Or is there more? Or what do you think? I mean, if you could kind of do that crystal ball thing 2 months ago, would you have seen this?
Honestly, like, I didn't know. I hoped. And obviously that was my expectation going into the season. But I think, like, we're all super happy where we're at right now.
I agree with Lexi. Like, this is honestly amazing. We're super grateful to be in the position we are right now. Like, yes, there were some games that we could have won in the conference that could have put us in an even better position, but we are very happy, and we just want to make a statement in the tournament.